right, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Great day to be alive. Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, great day to be alive. Great day to be alive. All right, so today we are going to go ahead and focus on voice, right? So yesterday I talked about a lot of automations from a conversational perspective, and today we're going to pivot to the voice, right? A quick analogy that I like to give is voice is more like the brain, while conversational AI is considered the soul, right? So conversational is where you have AI take over any inbound messages that come in through social platforms or a text message. A cool thing as well is if you miss a call, we could actually send out a text message letting them know, hey, we're quite busy right now, we weren't able to get to you, but how could we help? And by integrating AI, we could either have it answer any questions that the client has or get them to book an appointment or a consultation, an estimate. I mean, depending on the business model that you're running, we could quite literally tailor that agent to take care of that. So today we're gonna pivot over to voice, and voice is quite interesting, right? A lot of the similarities, but right now what I have on my screen is an example of a business that is utilizing AI. Now, it isn't 100% yet. It isn't 100% yet. And the reason it's not is because, as I say often, I want you to imagine as a business owner, you hire a new employee or you bring somebody onto your company and let's say it's a receptionist, right? The likelihood of them answering all of the questions the right way is very slim. So you will have to train that receptionist, the new team member, the new employee, to handle the situations according. And after 3-4 weeks, maybe a month, she's gonna start understanding the process and know exactly how to handle those situations. So similar to voice, right? And I like to inform my clients up front that the first couple of calls that she takes, although we do have a decent framework in place, there's gonna be some situations where we're quite literally gonna have to edit and make adjustments so that the next time that she's in that situation, she will go ahead and handle it properly. All right, so right now I'm gonna show you an example and then I'm gonna pivot over to another account. And in this other account, I'll go under the hood and show you guys a little more on how to build this and how to custom this to either yourself, your own business, or a business owner that you're providing this service to. All right, so this is what you see here. This is as of December 1st to the 26th. Total calls that AI took over was 21, right? So 21 calls, and the amount of triggers that were activated were 10. And the sentiment overall is 100%, right? So 18 minutes total. We have this down here is the information from pretty much all of the numbers, right? So right here you have the name of the agent, which is Christopher. We have the contact's number, and if they were to give their name, then obviously that name is going to be there as well. And we have the forwarding number, right? So we have the forwarding number as well. This is going to give you the time and date, the duration of the call, and then also the action that was triggered on this call. So in this case, it was a human transfer, meaning that somebody called this business and they requested to talk to a live rep, right? So what it did was transfer over to a live agent, and the agent was obviously able to handle that situation. Now, that's been the scenario for the most part. I have not designed this voice agent to book appointments, but in the other account that I'm going to log into, I'll show you a better example of one that has access to a calendar, and she'd literally be able to book appointments on your calendar as well. All right, so quick little summary here. If you click here, you get a chance to see the summary of the call. And then if you toggle this little icon here, you'll get a chance to listen to the recording as well. So again, if you're providing this value, if you're providing this service to a local business, every week, you're gonna wanna log in and listen to the calls so that you could start making adjustments accordingly, all right? Now let's go ahead and dive into the other account. All right, so this one has taken 57 calls over the last, since December 1st, right? So it's 57 calls. And one of the cool things that I want to show before I move on is how do we set this up? Man. All right, so how do we set this up? So a question that I get a lot of times from business owners is, do I have to change my number? And the question or the answer to that is no, you don't have to change your number. This is designed similar to a call forwarding service, right? Meaning if somebody calls your business and you do not answer the phone, typically as a call forwarding service, you have to dial star 60, I believe 62 or 61, depending on the service provider. And then that missed call goes over to the answering service that you're paying for. Well, in this case, it's the exact same way, right? So how we program it is the calls are going to still go to your business. And if you don't answer, then it's going to go ahead and forward over to the voice agent that we've built on the back end. Now, we do have ways to make it answer every call that comes in, but realistically, that's not something that I recommend until we actually train the voice agent to take care of all of the scenarios that business goes through. And again, it's always going to be a decision based off it's going to be a decision based off the business owner. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in and open the hood and see exactly how we build this out. All right. So what you see here is a list of the different voice agents that I've built. So we have one for automotive detailing service. We have one for car dealerships. We have one for consulting services. We have one for auto repair, brewing services, beauty and wellness. We have one for bank services and so on. I mean, I have pretty much any industry that you need. I either have it or I have the capability of building it, and you have that capability as well. All right. Here is where you're going to connect the phone number that you are programming this voice agent to have, right? So she needs to be connected to a phone number, and this is the number that essentially is connected to Chloe. All right. And if you want to experience the demo, what I want you to do is give a call or text phone number 321-587-0323. and go ahead and test it out, right? Either give it some funny scenarios, or if you're a business owner, give it the right information, and it quite literally will give you a demo as to how the voice agent is going to sound for your business specifically. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk about a new build that I have right now, and it has something to do with transferring over to another voice agent or another conversational agent. And as a quick little sneak peek, right now, my conversational agent is designed for business owners, but I'm now reaching out to content creators. So one of the questions that I'm going to put on the conversational bot and the voice bot is, are you a business owner, a traditional business owner, or are you a content creator? And if they happen to say that they're a content creator, what I'm going to do is have it transfer over to the content creator bot. And that's where RoboPimp is going to come in and start taking over from there. So again, let me go ahead and open this up and show you guys exactly how this is built. All right, it's really simple. Even if you're not tech savvy, once you actually build out a couple of these voice agents or conversational agents, and once you have the framework in place, you'll be able to do this at scale, right? You just literally have to do it a couple of times, and then from there, it's just like riding a bike. All right, so here's where you're gonna name the agent. This one's name is Chloe, and the business name in this scenario is AI Employers. So this is my agent. This is my voice agent and my conversational agent. All right. As far as language, as of now, I have it toggled for English. I still haven't built one in another language. That's another project that I have been procrastinating on. But I know voice agent has gotten way better than it did a year ago. So I'm just gonna hold myself accountable. Within the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and build out a Spanish agent just to go ahead and test it out and see how it performs. But nonetheless, that's where you select the agent language. That's the language of the agent. Here is the voice, right? So here you're gonna go through the different voices. As of now, I know Dakota sounds fairly well. Aaron sounds good. There's a couple of others, but as of now, I've gotten pretty decent success with this one. I like the way it sounds. And if you guys could go through all of the options, but for now, that's the one that I've decided. If you want to change the voice, you simply just click here, and I would go ahead and select high quality only, and you could go through the different accents that are available, and you could also go based off gender as well. I like to go with a woman. A woman typically sounds a lot more inviting in most scenarios, but I have a client that wanted a man to answer the phone. So I just went ahead and went through all of the voices available and just switched it over for them. So it's really preference. Again, Dakota, Donovan is a really good one as well. I believe Hope is a good one. And like I said, just go through all of the voices, and when you get a chance to listen to them, you'll get a better feel. Also, be mindful of the audience that the business owner is, the audience of the business owner, right? So if they're more Spanish oriented, it's okay to have a voice agent that has an accent, right? It's going to resonate a little bit more with the ideal person that is calling in, and that's okay, right? So be mindful of that. Here, you're going to select the time zone. Here is the large language model. So as of now, I'm using GPT 4.0. That is not the newest one, but oftentimes when it comes to new development, I've already tried the newer ones, and as of now, it's not quite there. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 4.0, and when I decide to make that pivot, I'll just go ahead and make an updated video so you guys could see that it performs a lot better than what it did when I first built it. All right, here is going to be the agent's initial message, right? So in this scenario, hi, my name is Chloe. I'm Bison's assistant. Were you looking to book a consultation, experience a personalized demo, or did you need help with something else? Right? Now, you are obviously going to have to change that based on the business that you're dealing with. So let me go ahead and give you another example of an intro that we are using for another business. So in this scenario, the agent's name is Christopher, right? And the answer is, hey, hello, thank you for calling Super Bass Car Audio. Are you needing a diagnosis or looking for an equipment installation? right? So obviously you're gonna have to change this to to whoever it is that you're serving, right? And one of the little hacks that I've been able to utilize is if you can't think of a decent introduction, you just first ask the business owner, how do you answer the phone whenever somebody calls in, right? And then you could also once you write that down, you could actually run it through ChatGPT and ask it to make a few variations and then kind of go based off of that. But oftentimes, once you get that response from the business owner, you could quite literally copy that exact response into the voice agent and have her pick up him or her answer the phone that exact same way. All right. Now let's go ahead and dive into the settings. All right. I do not recommend messing with this too much, but if yours in default is set to moderate or fast, I would go ahead and put it in normal, right? Especially if you're in the East Coast, right? In the East Coast, a lot of all right, I'm not going to talk shit about them, but the point is that you want to go ahead and just set it to normal. If you are developing this on the West Coast, you can get away with moderate. Fast, I would say, is just a little too exaggerated, but for the most part, normal or moderate should be good enough. You also will have the capability of changing the sensitivity when it comes to interruption, meaning if the person is thinking about responding or they just haven't responded as quick as a normal person typically does when they're asked the question, you could actually change that sensitivity so that it does not interrupt the person that is giving the business owner a call. All right. Now, as we go through to the voice settings, there's a couple of options that you could do here. I'm not going to go through all of them as well, but this is the voice speed. The voice speed, I would keep that to 0.95, exactly to what it is. The temperature of the voice is the expressiveness or variability of the voice, right? So if you want her to be firm on what is it that you've prompted her to say, I would keep this exactly as it is, or you could even put it back to 0. Or if you want her to be more expressive and be more creative when it comes to communicating, you could crank that up and she obviously will just be a little more creative versus following the exact prompt that you've had her, you've prompted her to communicate. A couple of updates that we have now is noise cancellation, which is removing noise, and this one is removing noise and background speech. So why is this important? So what I found is in the past, whenever I listened to some of the recordings, and we found that in the past, if they had some noise in the background, if they had some kids crying, or if they had their wife saying something in the background, or they were, just in a noisy environment, oftentimes AI would kind of listen to that and kind of, say it would interrupt and kind of just mess up the flow of that conversation. Well, now there's an update to where we could quite literally remove the unwanted background noise or the background speech, which is massive, which means that the voice agent is going to be more focused on the person that is actually calling in, and it won't be interrupted when it comes to going through the flow to get them to book that appointment or answer any of their questions. All right. Now, let's go ahead and pivot over to the agent goals. So the agent goals, similar to the conversational agent that we built, right? So you have the ability to crawl a specific website, right? And that way it has updated information about said business, right? So that's really cool. And, I could think of a couple of scenarios, but let's say that a person that owns a dealership and they're constantly going through inventory, right? So they're constantly going through inventory. They have somebody on the back end updating their website. They got rid of a vehicle. They have a new car that just got on the lot, and you would have to manually you'd have to communicate with somebody at the dealership to know what's new and what's been taken off the lot, versus having it done automatically. And how you do that is by creating a knowledge base. And I'm not going to do that right now, but if you want the exact framework that I've been using, just go ahead and comment the letter X, and I'll send you a private invite to my school community where I'll either help you one-on-one or I'll screen share and just kind of answer any questions that you have. If you run into any issues, I'll just go ahead and troubleshoot it with you so that you can either, just get it done and serve your client the right way. But overall, once you select the knowledge base, it's going to give you the option. It's going to give you the option to crawl the website, right? And then there's a feature that you could refresh it every 2 hours or every 2 weeks. Meaning every 2 weeks, it's going to go back to the website and check if there's been any updates. And if there's been updates, then at that point, Voice will understand those updates. And if somebody asks questions about that, it's going to know the updated information. Pretty simple stuff, but really cool nonetheless. All right, so this is where the prompting happens. So like I say, the money is in the prompting. And there's some really cool features that we have access to now, which allows you to improve the prompting. It allows you to improve the prompting. But in this case, you are a multi-purpose voice assistant for Bison. Your tasks span 3 distinct roles during customer interactions: specific objectives, tones, and guidelines. Adapt your tone and behavior according to your role, the role that you're performing, right? So role number 1, gathering information, objective, collect detailed information about the caller's business to personalize a voice assistant demo. So this here is a self demo, right? So this one is designed to gather information from the person that is calling in, and then ultimately it's going to pivot over to creating a custom demo based off the information that the person gave, right? So as of this point, right now it's only collecting the information about the person that had called in. The tone is going to be energetic, engaging, and enthusiastic. Key steps: name, email address, mandatory. Could you share your name and email address to get started? I want to make sure that we're set up for your demo, right? And confirm. So let me double check your email. This I'm going to go ahead and change, but you do not have to ask for this information. I like to ask for this information because when somebody books a consultation, I actually could send them a reminder via text and also via email. But depending on your business model, you may not have to actually confirm or ask any of this information. Some businesses could get away with just asking for their first name. And actually, one of my clients, what he does is he would rather have them book an appointment for them to call the customer back versus them booking an actual appointment to come in and get work done on their vehicle. All right. So let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. All right, so the business name, that is mandatory. We want to confirm that they're a business and we want to get that business information. So what's the name of your business? I can't wait to hear more about it. The details. So can you tell me a little bit more about your business? For example, what industry are you in and who your main customers are, right? So this is Chloe. Chloe is asking this question to anybody that calls in, right? And the key interactions, what kind of customer interactions do you handle most often? Is it booking appointments, answering questions, or something else? And what kind of customer information do you collect from the people that call in, right? I can gather contact details, ask service-related questions, and even get the service address, right? So this is, again, this is designed to have a business owner call and for them to give information about their business so that AI could go ahead and give a demo that is personalized for the person that is given a call. As far as the tone, what tone fits your business best? Friendly, professional, empathetic, or another vibe, right? So these are all questions that Chloe's going to be asking the business owner that is interested in having Voice set up for their company. All right. Now, simulated interaction, maintain a conversational flow, right? So maintain a conversational flow. Avoid overwhelming the caller with too many questions. Respond dynamically based on their business. Example, for a plumbing service or a plumbing business, I'm sorry to hear about the water main break. Could you provide your location to any additional details? If this is life-threatening, please contact emergency services immediately. Showcase adaptability by handling common scenarios, collecting emergency details, scheduling appointments. All right, so transition. That wraps up our demonstration. How do you feel about how I handled that scenario? So again, the best way to actually demo this is make sure to give a call to 321-587-0323 so you could actually see what's happening once this is in action. All right, so let's go ahead and move over to the next pillar. And in the next pillar, this here is where you have the ability to notify your customer anytime that voice agent took a call, right? So anytime that voice agent handled a call, you could send an email or a text message to the business owner letting them know, hey, AI agent, you're Chloe. Chloe just handled another call. Go ahead and check the conversation or follow up with the customer, depending on the outcome of that conversation, all right? Now, if we go to phone availability, this is where you select the phone number that you connect with Chloe, right? And here is where you have the option to select her answering every call that comes in, or you could actually have it set for specific hours. Now, there is a little bit of work that's required from the business owner's perspective. And what I mean is you're gonna have to have them, depending on their service provider, if they have AT&T, if they have Verizon, if they have Comcast or any other service provider, you're gonna have to do a quick Google search and find out how to forward missed calls over to another number, right? And most business owners already know how to do that. They've already dealt with call forwarding services, but nonetheless, it does help for you to know what those numbers are whenever you end up closing a client, all right? And once you find that out, what you're gonna wanna do is on their phone, go ahead and hit whatever that number is and forward over the number to this number here. You're gonna forward any missed call over to the number that you programmed AI to be built on. All right, and then once you do that, like I said, you could select for her to answer all of the calls or only be active after hours, after 5, 6, 7 o'clock, depending on what the business wants. All right. If you want to test out the agent as you're building it out, this is one of the ways for you to test it. You literally would just have to select the number to call from, which is the one that you have to purchase. And then from there, you just select the phone number that you want to give a call to, and then you can start testing it out. There's another way to do it as well. You can actually call this number yourself. And as you can see, that's the same number on my hoodie, 321-587-0323. Give it a call, start playing with it, start demoing it. And if you want to start building this yourself and get an understanding of how it's done, go ahead and either send me the letter X and I'll go ahead and send you a private school community, access to my private school community so that I can teach you how to do this one-on-one. All right? Now, last thing that I want to quick mention is the dashboard. So I kind of already went through this, but what I want to go ahead and show you guys is a new functionality that's available as well, and that is outbound AI. I have not built any outbound agents as of yet, but I do want to give you guys a quick warning. When it comes to outbound, you want to make sure that they've opted in. Opting in is super important when it comes to outbound messaging, and some of the scenarios that are safe to utilize an outbound voice agent is if you're confirming a time, you've already talked to them and they have somebody coming out for a consultation, or they've already booked an appointment on your calendar, and you're just simply giving them a call to confirm that they're good on said time. Now, I will be honest, conversational agent is pretty good with that. You could easily just send them a text message, and that works very well. But again, I just want to give you guys a warning that when it comes to cold calling, I do not recommend using voice agent for cold calling. You can get into some trouble. So I would. All right, and as a bonus, the last thing that I'm gonna quick show you guys is, is the numbers for the last 7 days. So over the last 7 days, we were able to get almost 2,000 posts. We were able to get over 2,069,000 likes, 56 new followers, 9,000 impressions, and 59 new comments. Now, I did crank it back a little bit. I kind of exaggerated this. And that's one of the reasons why I'm inviting you guys to my school community so you could avoid the mistakes that I made initially, right? So I do have a system in place that essentially I could get maybe 2,000 to 5,000 posts on a weekly basis, but I decided to kind of scale it back and be a little more patient when it comes to scaling one of the social media accounts that I have. But as of now, this week, it only did 1.5K, 2.6K likes, 56 new followers, 90,000 impressions, and 59 new comments. Now, one of the hacks to me doing this, and a lot of people don't know this, right? When you are posting content, most people, what they do is they post it one time, and that's the last time that they ever put it out there. And they kind of hope that that piece of content goes viral. Well, if you've already put the time, if you've already put the energy, if you've already put resources into creating this content, why not go ahead and put it back into the ecosystem one more time, and then maybe one more time, and then do it one more time, right? So that's where recurring posts comes in. And then I also like to maximize reach by integrating multiple social platforms at once, right? So instead of just posting on Facebook, instead of just posting on TikTok, instead of just posting on Instagram, why not go ahead and test the market and put this out on all of the social platforms at once? And the likelihood of it going viral or the likelihood of it catching traction is a lot stronger than you simply posting it one time on one social platform. Now, I'm fully aware of the argument that a lot of the big players in the marketing space talk about, and they say, focus on one avatar. While I do agree, focus on one avatar if you're the one that's manually having to post this stuff, right? But if you have tools available that allow you to do it one time and automatically repurpose into multiple platforms, I would say that that makes a little more sense, helping you utilize the software and tools that we have access to and be more efficient from a time perspective, right? So this is maximizing your social media reach. And I'm gonna finish off by doing a couple of examples. So what I typically like to do is I like to go over to create post, create a new post, and you're simply gonna go ahead and select all of the social platforms that you've integrated, all right? Now, I'm gonna copy paste the same caption that I've been using. This is one of the hacks as well. I put it into a category, which in this one, it's perpetual growth. And so far, I'm getting a lot more traction when it comes to posting reels. It may change by the time you watch this or in the next 5 years or 3 years. Nonetheless, for now, I know reels are getting a lot more engagement. So I'm just posting it as a reel. And what I typically do is just put the title in Pinterest. And I'm also going to put the same one on YouTube. Go ahead and select short. And this is where the magic happens. So instead of just posting it one time, right, not only is it going to go out on the multiple platforms, it's going to go out on a recurring basis. All right, but before I do that, let me actually go ahead and select media. All right, and one of the hacks that I do, at least to stay, it's not really a hack, but I like to stay organized, is I put an asterisk in front of the video that I've posted. That way I know not to put it back in rotation. And once you put an asterisk and rename a video, you simply double click it and it's gonna automatically reformat to the actual social platforms that you've selected. And what we have here at the bottom, we happen to have an error, right? So this is very good. This is a good example, right? So in this case, it's saying Facebook Reel supports video duration between 3 seconds to 90 seconds. And this one is only 1 second long. So what I'm gonna have to actually do is remove this video from pretty much all of these. Let me see if it lets me do it as a feed. If it lets me do it as a feed, I'll keep it on, okay, so I'll keep it on Facebook. I will remove Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest on this one. I have plenty of other videos, but in this one, I'm gonna go ahead and remove Instagram. And I think the next one is said Pinterest and TikTok. All right. So you just simply toggle the one that you want to remove it from, and then the error should go away. So in this scenario, this one's only going to go out on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to go ahead and schedule for it to be a recurring post, and we're going to make it go out every 59 days, right? You can select the time, but in this case, I'm going to keep it at this time. And from today, all the way till 2070. We're gonna go ahead and select 2070, and voila. Now we have this post going out every 59 days from today all the way till 2070. And as you can see here, this is going to show you where the caption that you selected, a little image on the media that has been selected, the status on this post, the amount of posts that are going out, and the amount of times that this post is going to go out, and in the time frame in which you selected. And here you have all of the social platforms that you went ahead and chose as well. So that's that for this video. I'm gonna start getting ready for a live Zoom. Nonetheless, what I want you guys to do is make sure to hit the letter X in the comment section, and what I'll do is send you a private invite to my school community so I could either share a lot of these frameworks so you don't have to build it from scratch, right? And as a bonus, by you getting inside of my school community, what I'm gonna do is give you guys access to this database of viral, edit ready, luxury clip videos that you could start posting on your social platforms today. I have over 13,000 videos that are ready to go, and all you have to do is start using this same strategy. And every day, just go ahead and put 2 to 3 different posts on a weekly basis. And the more social accounts that you've integrated with the platform and with the platform that I just showed you guys, and start utilizing the same method, the higher the likelihood of you getting your product or service sold to whoever it is that's engaging with your client. All right. So here, I'm not going to go through this right now, but here I just have, I'll at least show you guys maybe 1 or 2 videos just to get an idea of the kind of videos that you'll have access to. And then we'll just kind of end the video from there. All right, so this is one of some luxury cars. We have some Lambos, some Ferraris in the background, and these are more lifestyle videos, right? So this tends to get a lot of engagement on social platforms, especially on TikTok and Instagram. So a 10-second video would go a really long way. Now, one of the key things for people to remember, I just met this girl at the gas station, and she seemed to have been getting a decent amount of engagement on Facebook and TikTok. And she said the way she does it is she pretty much just has to get pretty. And whenever she gets pretty, she starts getting a lot of attention. Well, if you're a dude, unfortunately, you don't have that leverage. You need to either have, you need to be of high status in order to get that attention, or you need to be a chick, right? So one of the main things that I told this girl is, I asked her, I said, what are you doing with the attention that you're driving to your social platform? And she didn't know. She wasn't really doing anything. She was just getting the attention, and I would assume getting high off the attention that was coming in through the different social platforms. So what I told her is, what you have to do is put a link on your bio with a product or a service that you could believe in it or not. I strongly recommend believing in it, but I just educated her a little bit. You could either have an e-com store, or you could sell software that is gonna pretty much lower your expenses, right? Because if you do e-com, you're gonna have to worry about purchasing the product and the spread that comes with selling it. So it's a whole nother game. But the point is that when you're selling software, oftentimes you could keep 50, 60, sometimes even 100% of the revenue that comes in, depending on the software that you're selling. All right. So with that, keep growing, keep developing, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to comment the letter X, and I'll send you an invite to my school community. Remember, non-stop growth. Let's go.